Junior raced away from the grow-op, the vampire bat monster's screech still echoing in his ears. The desert air, cool against his skin, offered a brief respite from the chase. But as he rounded a bend, he encountered a sight that defied reason. Bammy and Alberto, the fraternal vampire brothers, now grotesquely fused together. Their voices merged, a dissonant symphony of Bammy's baritone and Alberto's tenor. "Junior," they said. B-Rad's fury, his unchecked wrath at the grow-op, cursed us all. Moriarty became a haven for vampires. The world around Junior twisted. Cacti bent into impossible shapes. The sky swirled with kaleidoscopic colors, and the ground pulsed like a living creature. "What of the melted peanut man?" Junior asked, his voice shaky in the madness. "D-Rick," the Chimera sighed. "B-Rad loved Banta, sturdy as a Lego man, but D-Rick stole her heart. In despair, B-Rad created Athena too, a spray that transformed our town into Cinabite vampires, their fangs and claws oozing with sticky resin." The Chimera posed a riddle to Junior, a clue to vanquishing B-Rad. "I am not alive, yet I grow. I don't have lungs, yet I need air. I don't have a mouth, yet water kills me. What am I?" Junior pondered, then replied, "Fire." "Indeed," the Chimera affirmed. "B-Rad, once sunburnt at the grow-op, is vulnerable to sunshine. Pursue him. He's fled to the pilot truck stop. Halt his madness, Junior, before it's too late." Junior asked the creature, "What happened to you?" It replied, its eyes, a mosaic of Bammy's and Alberto's, gleaming mysteriously. "B-Rad defeated me," the Chimera confessed, "alongside D-Rick and other Cinabites. But beware, Junior. B-Rad is more than human now. His exposure to Athena 2 has granted him superhuman abilities. He'll be a formidable adversary." Back at the grow-op, D-Rick was lost in deep thought. Once a revered scientist, he'd used action figures to unravel scientific conundrums. Skeletor, perched on the shelf, served as the ultimate arbiter, with B-Rad pleading before the plastic tyrant for his job. "Please, D-Rick," he'd say. At every turn he'd won, but now, what would anyone think of him, now that he was more peanut than man? Those days were gone. B-Rad, once subservient, had usurped D-Rick's role, reducing him to a shell of his former self. In the clone room, D-Rick's reflection was a grotesque parody of his past glory. A melted peanut man, a symbol of his fall from grace. The lowest point came when a rat, mutated by the experimental Athena 2 into a monstrous vampire creature, molested him. Rage filled D-Rick's veins. With a lab coat repurposed as a cape and a helmet crafted from flower pots, he covered his ruined peanut head, a makeshift armor against the world that had betrayed him. This was his rebirth, not as a scientist, but as a warrior forged from the ruins of his own despair. He rolled through the dreary halls, the lights broken and hanging to creak in the wind. "Jumaji! Jumanji!" he shouted, listening for a reply and hearing only the out-of-tune singing of Banta. "Want a Banta? Don't you want a Banta, Banta?" He stopped the dancing Cinabite in the pitch-dark corridor. "Where's Jumanji?" Her eyes lit up as she spoke. "She went to save B-Rad from the Mexican." "What?" "Yup." "No." Junior posed the question to the Chimera, his voice tinged with a mix of hope and desperation. "What of the cure?" The Chimera, with a gaze as ancient as the stars, let out a laugh deep and echoing that seemed to mock the very walls that confined it. "A cure, you say? There exists no such thing. Only the fairy tales spun by those who refuse to accept the world's stark truths," it proclaimed, its words weaving a tapestry of grim reality that shattered any illusion of a magical fix. With resolve, Junior mounted his trusty, huffy bicycle. Dust swirled as he set off toward the pilot truck stop, Moriarty's destiny hanging in the balance. Meanwhile, B-Rad and Mason rallied survivors. Mason, once from the grow-op, stood as B-Rad's lieutenant. Todd, a former employee of the TA truck stop, provided the muscle. Todd, a charismatic man adorned with facial tattoos, traveled with his little goon dog. He had survived 3 days of relentless battles against the baby bites, his loyal goonie at his side. B-Rad spoke to his second in command. "Todd, riddle me this. Made of flesh but have no bones. I ache with pain and sometimes groan, from being hit too hard or jokes and smirks. What am I?" "I don't know, be rude." B-Rad's voice filled with gravel and menace. "I'm butthurt." "What's up, boss?" Mason said as he strutted towards his master. B-Rad lunged, grabbing him by his shirt collar and lifting him high in the air. "Ah, you punk!" Mason shrieked. "Shut up!" B-Rad yelled, his voice quivering with rage. You ate my burrito on Take Your Burrito to Work Day. I was hungry. He's killing me, Mason cried. You farted in my chair on Take Your Farts to Work Day. I needed Pepto-Bismol. Junior's Huffy kicked up a trail of dust as he pedaled with determination toward the pilot truck stop. But fate had other plans. From the shimmering darkness emerged a figure, dark and menacing. Jumaji, a notorious Cinabite enforcer, she blocked Junior's path. Her eyes glowed with a sinister light, and her presence sent a chill through the warm desert air. Junior skidded to a halt, gripping a metal bar, the only weapon he had. Jumaji lunged first, swift and brutal, but Junior clumsily dodged, the attack using his bicycle as both shield and chariot. The dance of death between them was a cyclone of motion, each strike from Jumaji met with a parry from Junior's metal bar. His bar smacks her granite head, reverberating violently in his grip. Jumaji smiles, pursing her lips with a click of her tongue, pulling a vape pen from her pocket and taking a hit. My mama used to hit me harder than that, little man. Blowing smoke in Junior's face, she swipes wild, aiming for his gut. Junior's ankle twists, sending her deadly blow off course to rip away his belt buckle. Junior stumbles backwards, his pants sagging. Tiptoeing on Bambi legs, every slip turns into a dodge as Jumaji continues her relentless assault. As his pants fall all the way down, his mind wanders back to his childhood, to the warm and comforting bean dip factory. He fondly recalls his grandpa's tough handshake and the mouth-watering scent of fresh bean dip. And then there was that unforgettable encounter with Tupac Shakur. Junior had shared his song idea, "Bean 'em up," with the music legend. Imagine his surprise when Tupac later came out with "Hit 'em up." Now Junior was no fool. He knew it sounded far-fetched, but he had proof, a do-rag signed by Tupac himself. Junior reached into his pocket, retrieving the do-rag of legend. The Cinabite enforcer pounced, aiming for a decisive end. Pants around his ankles, the moonlight shined down, reflecting off of the fabric of his tighty whities. The beam of light blares into Jumanji's eyes, blinding her momentarily. Junior ties the do-rag tight, releasing a primal scream, his eyes crazed as he yowls. Junior Mania is running wild, brother. Jumanji giggles as his shirt explodes with a rip, revealing his old Mexican man physique. She closes her fist, releasing a skull cracking straight right to his forehead. He doesn't react, shaking his head, his hair swinging, sending sweat into her face. Pumping his fists, he vibrates violently, scooting in a tight circle around her. Jumanji continues her assault, landing a 1-2 combination to Junior's temple, then a thunderous right hook to the back of his head. Junior ignores it all. Ha 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 ha! His eyes mad as he trembles like a TA washing machine. Lifting his bar, he raises it high. Jumanji, having punched him 36 times in less than a minute, stands panting, her voice cracks. You hit like a girl, she hisses. Do I? Junior responds maniacally. Ah! Jumanji screams as he hits her again and again. Her head dents in, then pops back to normal, attempting to heal. But the onslaught is too great for her Cinabite healing factor, and the enforcer collapses like a smashed Play-Doh doll at the janitor's feet. Junior stands over her, bleeding and bruised, the metal bar still humming a tune in his hand. A flyer fell out of her pocket. Junior picks it up. Take your panties to work day? He looked down at the smushed fiend. Should have taken yourself home day, sister, he says as he walks off the concussion, unaware of the heavy brain damage he'd just received.